Hey everybody, today I'm going to talk some more about farmers market stuff. This video I'm going to show you some of the things that I make to bring to farmers market. I'll just go through a quick rundown right now of what I bring. I bring granola, I bring monster cookies, I bring one kind of like pie dessert. Sometimes that's a crisp or a cobbler. I don't really like making pies, so a lot of times it's not an actual pie, but it's something you put in a pie pan. And then I'll bring quick breads too. So during the spring, I'll do like a rhubarb bread or strawberry bread. And during the fall, I'll bring like pumpkin bread or applesauce, spice bread, or more of that. So those are my fresh baked goods that I bring. Oh, and I also bring just the regular white bread. That's really easy to make, so I do that. And then some of the non-baked good things that I do are jams and jellies that I make from extra fruit that we get from our homestead. I'll bring those, and I'll bring goat's milk soap, and I'll also bring eggs. So those are the non-baked good items that I do. And today I'm going to show you kind of how I package those and what I do with them if they come home. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Let's talk about packaging baked goods for a minute here. I've got some of my stuff that I brought home today. And first I'll show you the cookies and bread. For the cookies and bread, I use these twist tie bags from Walmart. So pretty simple. And what I'll do is I'll put the stuff in, and then I will tape any excess. You can see under there I've taped it. And tie the top on with the twist tie and then cut off any extra. That just makes it look cleaner. And with the bread I kind of do the same thing. You can see it's taped underneath there for size, and then I cut off the extra. So that's what I use for most of my baked goods. I do have some specialty packaging that I just got last year. These are granola bags, and they're about 25 cents each. I bought mine on Amazon in a pack of 25. Then they're really good, and they actually do sell more granola. So I'll put a pound of granola in here, and then I'll put a label right up here. I'll just tape a paper label on like one of these. And then the other thing I bought last year was pie boxes. So these are also 25 cents each, but they are not selling more pies. So what ends up happening is they look really pretty on the table, and then people may or may not buy them. So I wouldn't, if I were you, I wouldn't invest in these boxes because they haven't really given me a return. And the other thing is, by the time you get the 25-cent pie box and the, I don't know what the pan is, like 50 cents or 75 cents, then you've got $1 in packaging alone. And if you're selling stuff for $5 and $6 and you're putting $1 of that into packaging, I just don't think it's worth it, especially if you're bringing it home. And then you've just, because you probably don't want to reuse this stuff after it's been through 1 week of market. So anyways, that's what I use. And let me explain these tags real quick. So in Michigan, we have something called the Cottage Food Law. And that means you can sell certain things at a market without having a licensed kitchen, as long as you put one of these ugly labels on. And what it's got here is my name, my address, obviously what the item is, ingredients, and then you're supposed to also put if there's any allergens or things that might make people sick. Like over here with the monster cookies, I wrote contains milk, eggs, and peanuts. So just those common allergy things. And then also underneath that, the weight. And then lastly, they make you put this, and it has to be a certain size font, and I don't know, I think it's kind of dumb, but that's what you have to do. So I just fold this under so you can see more of the cookies, because what I found is that these great big labels were just covering my products, and it made them look ugly. So I turned them under. We did have the inspector come through 1 week, and she did not say anything about the labels being folded. So that works for me, and that is what I use to package my bacon. When I get home from the market, I sometimes come home with stuff, and this week I didn't come home with a whole lot of baked goods, but I did come home with a ton of eggs. Nobody wanted to buy eggs this week for some reason. So I took like 7 dozen and I sold 2, which is a super bummer because that's an easy way for me to make money for my hobby farm, is with the eggs, but that didn't happen. So I did sell some baked goods, and I sold quite a bit of soap this week actually. So that was good. I'm going to show you some of the things I came home with. And when I come home, one of the first things that I want to figure out is my cost of goods sold. That is, what was the cost of the ingredients for the things that I sold, and also the cost of goods not sold. So the cost of ingredients for the things that I didn't sell, that will just go to waste. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about my cost of goods not sold and how I figure that. This week I came home with 3 bags of granola, and these are 1-pound bags of cranberry pecan granola that I sell for $5. The granola itself is actually just going to go in our pantry because we're going to eat it. It's not going to waste. So I am only going to count the cost of the bag onto my cost of goods not sold for this item. And the bag was 25 cents. So I came home with 3 bags. I'm going to put 75 cents on my cost of goods not sold for the granola. And then the other things I came home with 2 of these white loaves. And I really like making these because they're a high profit margin item. It cost me about 25 cents to make, and I sell it for $4. So this week I sold 1 loaf and I brought home 2 loaves. So I'm gonna count, let's see, do I want to count that or not? I could count these as cost of goods not sold because obviously I didn't sell them. But like the granola, we do eat this bread. If I don't sell it, I'll use 1 loaf for this week and I'll make sandwiches and stuff with it. And then I'll put the rest of the loaves that didn't sell in the freezer, and I'll just use those in the coming weeks for the same thing. So this isn't really a total loss. Actually, this will save us money if we eat this 25-cent loaf of bread as opposed to a $1 loaf of bread from the store. So I'm not going to count that as a cost. The last thing that I did not sell this week was some strawberry rhubarb bread. And this was a new recipe that I tried. It was really good because my husband already ate a half a loaf. But I didn't sell any of it. And the recipe cost me $2.19. And it made 3 loaves. I didn't sell any of them. So I am out my $2.19. And unfortunately, like these other 2 items, I am not going to use this in our weekly menu. So this is kind of a waste, and this I will count as cost of goods not sold. So, if you are thinking about selling at a farmer's market, it's super important to think of what you're going to do with all this stuff when you bring it home. Especially if you don't have a big family to eat it up, because you do not want to be eating all this stuff by yourself. So this, I'll probably end up taking this to a potluck or something this weekend. It's Memorial Day weekend. So that's what I will probably do with this. And then thankfully I didn't have anything else this week that's really going to go to waste that I had time or money into. Unfortunately, I did not sell any eggs. So those were kind of a waste, but I don't count any costs for those. So that was not on my cost of goods not sold.